I've been real estate investing for 17 years, and there's a few core things that I would really have wished I knew before now. As I look back, and I've learned a lot of meaningful lessons, difficult lessons, run out of money. There's challenges that are going to come along the way. And the things that I'd say have been the most important lessons have been that the best deals are the best deals, meaning the location, those things, those are the truth. And when you're starting out, you're trying to produce such awesome, amazing returns. You're trying to triple everyone's money in 3 years. And there's this tendency to try to have a breakout moment on the front end when you're young and early and green to the industry and to real estate investing in general. And some of the things that now with 17 years worth of hindsight, I would have focused on better quality assets to begin with and taken a little bit more time to curate a portfolio that I really love. With that, I've learned a lot by operating deep value add, really nasty, hairy mobile home parks. But at the same time, the best returns are from the deals that were the simplest, cleanest, and best located. And that goes all the way through to the city water, city sewer, the actual materials of when it was built, materials of this water sewer, the ability to have a big open unit to floor a new manufactured home into an old space if that old home needs to be pulled out. There's just all these things where the quality is key. So if you can get your dollars or your investors' dollars a little bit more comfortable on the front end with slightly lower returns, the rents and the growth of those assets is going to outperform in a lot of times the value add properties that you think you can achieve higher yields and higher returns. The truth of our space, specifically in manufactured housing, has been that the simpler, the better. And I've really become a believer in that. To minimize risk, you just continue to lean in to keep it simple. And that comes to utilities and the location, the quality of the layout. And this applies to, industrial, multifamily, any, Airbnb. The location is key. The way the home's laid out, the way that it's going to have a flashy factor, every one of the best quality. And then those all get bid up. And so I've said it another way, which is never pull back on the great assets. You sometimes have to pay to win those. And you don't want to, if they go what I call nuclear on price and they go and they sell it at some crazy number where it just literally makes no sense, then I'd say the guys that were smart in this last cycle went pencils down. In multifamily, I'd say specifically, there was guys that kind of bowed out. They kept present. They were making offers. But there were guys that actually paid stupid prices and then they broke those companies and they lost those assets to the lenders. That is not what I'm talking about. So there is a line in the sand that you don't want to cross and you don't want to pay too much. But if you can be ever present on those quality assets that are going to trade and you can be active and at the table, there's going to be moments where you look around and you're right at the bid and you can pay another $100,000 for that apartment deal, or in our case, mobile home parks. And those ones that I leaned in and I paid for, I have never regretted, and I've crushed it on those. And those were higher quality, better locations. I've missed on a couple, and so those are sour. I've completely, gotten outbid by the $100,000 and guys that were older than me, more sophisticated, a little bit wiser, obviously, in the space. And there were things that I later found out that the deals were juicier, and they truly were those great assets, and I missed on them, and I was not the buyer. It took me probably a good 5 to 10 years to actually learn how to be competitive on the relationship building, but then actually how to write up offers that are going to be more likely to be successful and be chosen as the winning bid. And so there's a lot to that, but I'd say just continue to pursue those deals. Don't think that you're going to get real sassy and go over and buy some crazy value add and turn it around and 3x everyone's money. If you want to learn how to win a bidding process, relationships are everything. Motivational dynamics are everything. Who's getting paid? How much are they getting paid? Is there a way for you to help make sure that the broker, in this case, if they're a listing broker or a listing agent, make sure they get paid more? If there is a dynamic at hand, the relationship dynamic on the front end of that is more important because there's a thing called guidance. And you, with broker relationships, you can then have conversations which they will share with you, fair guidance. If you are who you say you are, your reputation holds, you've done deals, and you've started, I'd say, smaller to where you can then have a track record of success, you then make it a point to do deals with every single broker, back what you say you're going to do. So you show up at the bid to bid on a property. You show up, you do what you say you're going to do. And then if you get selected, you got to close. You try to be an easier buyer to work with through every deal, because then you have built over time, you've built a network of brokers that want to work with you, want to see you succeed and win the bid, because they know you, with surety, that you're going to close. And if not, you're going to be reasonable through that process. If you ever had to renegotiate on a due diligence item or whatever, you do it in a reasonable manner. You be kind all the way through. Like there's moments to be hard, but I'd say for the most part, honey has gotten me a lot further than vinegar through all of my interactions with brokers, and it's really helped win bids along the way. Sometimes there's moments where you have to go full hard earnest money, hard deposit, meaning non-refundable deposit day one, to just show up and make yourself known. If you're new on the block, that's the best way to show up and become like a really influential bidder, is you show up with serious money on the table to begin with, that if they select your offer and you go to purchase agreement, you lose that money and walk away from it, they know you're committed, and they know that at that point you're not going to walk away, most likely. That gives people a lot of confidence in your ability to close.